the fight is finally over, and I still just don't care. What is it about these big boxing matches where people come out of the woodwork, they've never watched boxing before, they've never cared before, but you get a domestic abuser who's going to make $1 million, and then all of a sudden everybody loves the sport again. I don't get it. I don't care. I don't know why you care. Why do you care? Tell me, please. Welcome to the River's Edge Radio Network. I am Pittsburgh's moral compass, your voice of reason among three rivers of chaos, Brian Crawford, here in the beautiful Mr. Smalls Theater. And we have an action-packed show today. We have Becki of LoFi Delphi. She'll be here to talk about the Rock All Night tour. We also have Brandon of Shadow of Corvus in to talk about his performance coming up here at Mr. Smalls Theater. But I want to know about this fight. Why do you care about the fight, and why do we like to make domestic abusers symbols of heroism, or heroism here in the United States? I've got Michael Cohen here, as always. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good today, Brian.
Good. Now, were you a big fan of the fight? Did you watch the big fight?
I have not watched the fight yet.
No,
it cost a lot of money to watch, and so I was like, I'm going to watch this on YouTube later when it's free.
Yeah, I just am not interested. See, I didn't even know who, any of the people were. I didn't even know it was an MMA guy. I didn't know anything. I just knew that the one guy is a domestic abuser.
What does that mean in this context?
Well, he hit his wife, and he was abusive.
Word.
Yeah. Multiple times he was caught abusing
women. That's Mayweather or McGregor?
Mayweather.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with any of that stuff. To me, the hijinks, I think, were the funny part. Apparently, at the final weigh-in, no one really knows why, but McGregor, the MMA guy, had a raging boner. And was like,
wow.
And they have to strip down to their underwear, and he was like using it to menace Mayweather, because they're supposed to kind of face off like face to face.
Yeah,
and wouldn't get that close to him. It's unclear whether he had chemical assistance for that one or just produced it naturally himself. I think that was the thing. I think it got hyped. I also think it got racialized real quick.
Yeah, that's what they've said.
McGregor made some comments that I haven't bothered to look up, apparently, that set a tone where people wanted to see him get pummeled into mush.
Yeah, people were asking me, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know McGregor was white until after the fight.
McGregor was white?
You never know. People are, they're intermingling nowadays.
Also, that I just realized today in looking at pictures, that guy has the word McGregor tattooed across his chest.
Wow.
Bro got his last name tattooed on his chest.
That's awful.
Amazing.
This is Pittsburgh's voice for local music, the River's Edge. They had all of these.
Loser.
That is really that's. I mean, I could see that though. If you're someone like I could see Crawford putting that on my chest. I feel like everybody would want a Crawford tattoo. I could be a trendsetter.
But not Mick Crawford, right? You would
No,
drop the Mick.
I would drop the Mick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a thing you want to.
Not cool.
brag
Crawford's
about.
already a Scottish name.
I know.
Okay, so there were a lot of parties for this fight. People were coming together because they could split the price of the bill. And,
my restaurant, not my restaurant, the restaurant I am on one of the bottom rungs of the ladder at, closed early so that people could go home and watch that.
Really?
Yes.
That's really kind of shocking to me. That would never happen at my job.
Let me rephrase that so that the boss could get home and watch
it.
Not all of us made it out in time, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So, anyways, the Game of Thrones came out. There were big parties for that. And I, last night, was invited to a prestigious party of top people in Millvale to watch Game of Thrones. I mean, of course I was invited. So, I went to this party, and, well, as you know, I've been trying to save money. I've started grocery shopping. And I went to this party, and it was great. It was actually outside. They had a big projector, lots of fun, amazing food at the party. But I was still hungry when I left, or hungry again because I had drank a lot at the party. Again, it was exclusive, invitation only, top people here in Millville, including myself.
I certainly didn't hear about it.
No. That's my point. So I was there. I went home. I bought groceries. So I decided to cook, and I decided to make a pizza. And I got this frozen pizza the other day at the store, and I found out that this morning this pizza has superpowers.
Does it
So
fly?
this pizza, it doesn't mold. It's like I walked here in the studio just holding the pizza without a tray, anything. It won't fall apart. It's infallible. But last night, apparently, when I threw this thing in the oven, I sat down on the couch, completely passed out. So the point of the story is I could have died last night because I left the oven on, and luckily my roommate turned it off. But this pizza,
This is why you shouldn't live alone, people.
yeah, this
It's
pizza
important.
though, I'm holding it like literally vertically for those of you listening, and it won't fall over. It's incredible, and it's not burnt either. That's the amazing part about it. This pizza has got some sort of property to it that will not allow it to fall apart.
Brian, I know we were only joking about me eating part of it, but I feel like this is the moment, later than most, but where I finally do something a little foolish that gives me superpowers.
There we go. This pizza, though, yeah, it's crazy. In being that, who knows, you could get superpowers or you could die a slow death from eating this pizza.
This
But
pizza's
again,
my radioactive spider. I'm
I
gonna do
could
it.
have died in this fire, and when you're close to death, you start thinking about things like, what's going to happen when I die. I don't have a will. I'm thinking, maybe I should get a will, and I guess you want to make sure everything's set aside. So if I die from a frozen pizza, I want to make sure it's in my will that you send my body to Haunt Funeral Home, the only family-owned funeral home in Millville. They specialize in green cremation, and it's definitely got to be healthier for the environment than this monstrosity. I don't know if I'm impressed with the pizza or if I fear the pizza. But this is an interesting topic, the topic of frozen pizzas that are so solid you could put it out. You could, replace one of those Confederate monuments with just this pizza. It could sit there, and it would stand the test of time. And it makes you start thinking about some really interesting topics. There's so many different angles you can go with from a frozen pizza, because obviously you can get better pizza than any frozen pizza, really. And it brings in a lot of interesting questions. What's better, the local chain, the local place, the national chain? You've got topics like iconic pizza places you could talk about. You could talk about French fries that fall in the cracks in your cars. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of similar to this pizza. They don't ever go bad. It's kind of miraculous. Have you ever experienced that where when you're in your car, at some point in your life, a French fry has fallen down in the crack, and then like years later, that same French fry is still holding its form?
Yes, absolutely.
It's insane.
It's insane.
What are they made out of? What are
Just to
these
be
French
clear,
fries made out of?
They're not edible at that point. I can promise you that.
Are they edible when you originally get them? Like when you
Debatable.
originally buy them? I mean, if it's something that can survive that long in a car and it doesn't even start to deteriorate, what the hell are they flooding those French fries with? What the hell did they make this pizza with?
I mean, I love your monument idea. I think, that this celebrates a time of convenience and a time of bounty and what's the opposite of scarcity? Abundance, a time of abundance in our country's history that may not last forever. And we may want to look back on that at some point and be like, wow, we literally just had stacks of pizzas in our fucking freezers. And have a monument to that period when we're eating each other and animal and things we used to consider pets after the oil runs out.
I am shocked by I am shocked by this pizza.
Brian, after the break, I'm gonna cut a
eat
piece
part
of
of
that
the- you're
pizza.
eating part of the pizza.
I don't have a knife with me now, but I'm
Another topic though, Pizza the Hut. See, you could turn into Pizza the Hut. You remember Pizza the Hut, right? Spaceballs.
Yes.
And that brings up another interesting topic. See, there are so many different
Yeah, when I bite
avenues.
into this, is it just gonna shoot out of my pores bubbling up in a red rash that pusses.
You could show up.
Oozes pus, not pusses.
You
pus.
heard they're talking about coming out with the
bad
Spaceballs 2. You
syntax.
could be a character on Spaceballs 2. Pizza the Hut, we can bring him back. The search for more money. Look how many topics we were able to come up with one cheap, yet extremely durable.
I need them to bring back Rick
Pizza.
Moranis if they're gonna do that.
That would be amazing. Yes, you two can work together.
Elderly Rick Moranis.
You know what, though? That would actually be an interesting
Is he elderly?
storyline.
I don't know.
Does he stand the test of time? Is he... You know what? We need to talk to Han Funeral Home. Whatever they use to make this pizza, it may be a cheaper additive for her services because you have to preserve, when you're doing a funeral a lot of times, unless you're doing the green.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that
green
those
burial.
things would qualify under the green burial.
Yeah, which is that kind of crazy in a way that the green burial is more economic or ecologically friendly than this frozen pizza.
They were legit having this problem in Greece, right? Where they bury bodies but it's a very limited space, and they've been doing this for a very long time. And so they had kind of gotten right with the fact that like bodies don't last forever, and once a body's gone, you can kind of put another body where that body used to be. And they're actually having a problem now where because of the stuff that's in our food, the bodies are not decaying fast enough. And when they're moving them to put new bodies in, they are still bodies and not dirt.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So I want to bring in Becki here of LoFi Delphi. Becki, would you eat this pizza?
I don't think that I would.
You wouldn't eat this pizza?
No,
No. Why? What's wrong with this pizza?
it's just looking a little scary. I mean, it looks like a pizza, but at the same time, like if you cooked it last night and it's still looking like this.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? And
Yeah.
I literally was able to walk down the street holding this pizza.
I mean, it didn't bend, nothing.
No, it's
Yeah.
insane. I'm impressed. I don't know. I don't know if I should be impressed or if I should be afraid.
Both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
fear and respect.
Do you think that this pizza could become the pizza of choice for LoFi Delphi?
No, we have a couple local places in Bellevue that we kind of
Really?
like.
Where do you go?
We like R&B's. Yep.
Nice.
It's a
Very
good place. Luigi's is also good.
And I imagine their pizza, you would not be able to walk down the street holding it like a frisbee.
No.
I could actually throw this like a frisbee. That's another topic. So which of these topics are the most engaging to you? Spaceballs, the fluids that are being pumped into the pizza, frisbee pizza, local versus national chain. That's an interesting topic, actually.
Okay,
That's
but I really want to make a YouTube video of someone walking, and out of the left screen, this pizza just comes just like, bam, and clocks them in the noggin.
That would be
and then
fantastic.
cut back and in slow motion. It's
You
just
could
like
do it with this
whipping
pizza.
like a frisbee. It's like
These
boom,
people
like,
are revolutionary who designed this pizza because they've created
an assault pizza.
multiple uses for one round thing of dough.
Don't let Mayweather have that pizza.
No, definitely not. So that's an interesting topic, though, the local versus national chains. We didn't jump into that. In this area, the national chains cannot survive without beer. Without beer. I know the Pizza Hut back home started adding beer where I grew up, but the national chains cannot survive. Like Domino's was run out of town on more than one occasion.
Is it because we love local pizza, or is it because they generally don't serve beer? And
Well, a lot of the
Pittsburghers
local-
literally need beer.
A
with
lot of the
everything.
local
True.
pizza places don't serve beer, though. A lot of the local pizza places, especially out in the suburbs, they're just kind of a come and go. Like
That's
you
a good
can't
point.
even eat there.
Yeah, you're
so,
right.
yeah, I think it's an interesting debate, and it's something that maybe we should continue to debate further at some point. It's a good topic. There's a lot of good topics that have come out of one thing of pizza.
Have a pizza special show.
Yeah, we could. We could do a pizza special show from a pizza sponsor. That could be fun.
Look at that.
Yeah. So you're performing at Rant. Are there any pizza venues at Rant? Because that's one thing that's interesting about Rant is they have some really creative venues, which is kind of cool. They pretty much utilize
All the
every
spaces.
aspect, of Lawrenceville.
Yeah. trying to look because I brought it up because I'm actually not sure of all the venues this year.
In Rant-
I mean, Spirit has pizza, so there's that.
Spirit's got good pizza.
They do. And
Rant
Yeah.
is this weekend.
Rant is this weekend.
Yeah.
It's like super exciting.
It's exciting.
I don't see any other pizza venues, no.
Okay, so
No.
but you've got Spirit.
We got
So
Spirit.
I imagine their pizza does not last
Oh, I don't think
a
so.
long time.
I've
yeah.
never checked.
Yeah,
You've
we
never
have not
checked.
tested this, so
Yeah.
it very well could be.
So it's possible. They
It
could
is.
have super pizza. I'm excited. Rant is going to be great this year. There's so much going on.
It's
There's
crazy
so
how many bands are playing this
There's
year.
over 200, correct? Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's too many. There, I said it.
No, it's not.
It's not too many.
It's
It's,
not.
like just enough.
It
I
gives
know,
you
I'm
so many opportunities to see so many different things. That's the one thing I like about these festivals, Becki, is that you can experience like so many different types of music.
Absolutely.
You can open your mind. That's one thing that I do like about Rant is because they kind of mix the different genres up. So that was a discussion with the Millville Music Festival that we had. Do we want to mix genres or do we not? And
Yeah.
I was in favor of mixing, but I was overruled.
Oh, no.
So we did
That's
not
funny.
mix the genres. But that's one thing I always liked about Rant is that you can go and if you're a fan of jazz, you'll be forced to be exposed to something outside of your jazz
Correct.
bubble. So you can kind of experience and learn more about different types of music, which is really cool.
I love that part of Rant because you just spend your whole day, or now it's the whole weekend, just running around and like catching bits. And then if the venue's running a little bit behind or a little early, then you're going to end up seeing somebody that you didn't necessarily plan to see, which is normally really awesome. So that's been my favorite part about Rant the 4 years that we've played.
So you played in it for 4 years.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of different changes over the years. What do you?
Absolutely.
And I know your husband is in the core planning
Yes.
committee of Rant, so you know a lot about what's going on. So, and you're involved in the planning committee as well. as I've
Not
seen
so
you
much
there.
this
Not
year.
as much this
yeah,
year.
the
Okay.
last 2 years more, but not so much this year.
What do you see different this year? What can we expect different at Rant? Now I know, for those of you who aren't familiar with Rant, it's a giant music festival. It's the first of these multi-venue, massive music festivals in Pittsburgh. Its roots are from R.A.N.T. That's where it got started, which it's kind of funny because then all of these different music festivals in some way have their roots back to R.A.N.T. in Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Skullfest has a bunch of venues all over the city, right?
Yeah.
when did that start? How many?
I think this was the 9th this year.
Oh,
was
wow.
The 9th
Okay.
Skullfest. I can
So
check
maybe
on that.
maybe it's the second of the multi-venue.
Yeah, it very well
But-
could be.
Skullfest
Yeah.
is very particular though. It's not really a multi-genre
Okay.
No.
experience. if you want D beat, you can go. Not even all punk. If you want D beat, you can go to Skullfest.
Nice.
Yeah, Rant, it's the 6th year this
Sixth
year,
year,
which is
yeah.
pretty
That's
exciting.
fantastic.
So what have you seen different over the years? What do you expect to see different this year? And it is like as we said, all over Lawrenceville, and we mean all over, all the way from Needs Hotel down to past Hambones.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
The cider house all the way
Wow.
down there. So I'd say this year they're really focused on diversity. So a lot of the venues you're not going to see just like one style of music or all guys in bands. It's like they were trying to put a lot of women, people of color, like kids bands all over the place. Like just trying to mix it up a bit, keep it interesting. I do love that it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again this year. I think last year it was that as well. But it gives you more opportunity because if you're trying to jam everything into Saturday, there's no way that you're going to be able to see everyone that you want to see. I don't even think I'm going to be able to see everyone that I want to see
Yeah.
on Saturday anyways, but it's cool that I have some options on Friday and Sunday as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you have to pick and choose. You
Oh my
can't
God.
just yeah.
Yeah. And you have to figure out like your like where the venues are in relationship to each other. Because I know last year I was like, I'm going to go see this, this, and this. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make that because walking.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. It's Lawrenceville's such a long place, which is one of the
Yeah.
the interesting things about it. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm very excited. So where will you be performing?
We're playing, LoFi Delphi is playing at the Lawrenceville VFW
Okay.
with,
That's right near my house.
is it?
Yeah.
That's exciting. We're playing with the Park Plan and Aloe, Crew of the Half Moon, and Essential Machine.
Nice.
Trying to make sure that I didn't forget anybody.
Which
Nope,
of
got 'em
those
all.
bands are you real excited to see?
Well, Park Flane's like my favorite band in the city, so I'm always excited
Yeah,
to
they
see
were
them.
at your last EP release
They were,
party.
yep.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Crew of the Half Moon, so that'll be exciting. We played with Essential Machine last year at Deutschtown, and then Aloe is Jen Sable from Brazilian Wax's new band, and I've seen them once, so it's a real solid lineup.
Yeah, it'll be very cool. I'm super
Yeah.
excited. I got to figure it out. I know I will be streaming, I believe streaming one of the stages down at Rant as
Oh,
well.
cool.
So yeah, we're gonna be
Nice.
doing some stuff down there, and it's 3 days this
It
year.
is.
Yeah.
Yep, Friday
Starts
night.
on Friday. Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday it goes till, it goes till like 8 o'clock on Sunday with the East End Appalachian Jam at Hambones.
Nice. So Michael, have you been to Rant before?
No, I mean I just got here a little less than 2 years ago, so.
So you have not been to Rant.
I've
so
not.
This will be an interesting experience for you. So are you thinking you're gonna go? What would you want to see? Or what have you been to? You've been to the Millville Music Festival. Have you? Is that the first of those?
The Millville Music Festival is so far the first and only one I've been to. I went to one band at the first Skull Fest that was here while I was here, and it was a childhood favorite band. And
Who
I
was
went The Pissed,
Okay.
and I went long enough to see them.
Were they pissed off?
They are always pissed.
They're always pissed.
Seems fitting.
But yeah, no, I comedy and food service. The combination of comedy and food service has stolen my life since I moved here. And oftentimes, if something is not one of those two, like food service has me working so many evenings, you know. And then when I'm not, I'm taking when I'm actually taking nights off. It's usually for shows that I'm on. So it's no, my Pittsburgh cultural career has been extremely stunted. I just got my schedule changed at work, though, pulled a little seniority, have
There
mostly
you go.
day shifts
Nice.
now. So I'm hoping to get out and about around the city, maybe date people or something would be nice.
Well, the nice thing about something like Rant is because it's 3 days and it's so
Yeah.
long that you can kind of, even if you have an awful schedule, you can still make it to a lot of the
Something.
different.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably swing over to
Awful
Spirit just to see what's going on there. I mean, it's like right across the street from my house, basically.
So, what's your best Rant memory?
My best Rant memory was our first year. It was LoFi Delphi's first full band show.
Oh, really? That was
Fun
your
fact.
first. Wow, at
Yeah.
Rant.
It was.
Oh, that's cool. That's kind of a neat opportunity because it's a way to, if it's
See
your
where
first
we're
show.
at, like every year.
Well,
like,
not only
making
that,
progress.
but if you're a newer band, it's a way to get your name out there to a ton of people and get your
Absolutely.
name on everything.
Yeah, we played outside at the patio at Blackberry Studios. It was like so freaking hot, and we were just like baking in the sun because the sun was setting, but it was like hitting the patio like straight on. We all had to wear sunglasses. We were all super nervous. It was with our previous guitar player, and we made it through. We had a lot of our family there because everyone was really excited. They don't come nearly as much as they used to. 3 years in, it's going to be that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my family's been to exactly 2 of my shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can't get anyone to show up to any of my shows. so you got me beat there.
There you
so,
go.
Yeah.
Typically just releases now, but
No,
yeah.
they did come to my 1-year party.
There
That
you
is
go.
true. Yeah, we had a
Nice.
lot of people that came out
Nice.
for that. So
Yeah, so that was my favorite memory just because, it was our first show and it was a lot of fun. It was like Blackberry Studios, the guy just like has this big party there and like I don't know if I don't think they're part of it this year, but it was he like made pizzas and had drinks and like everyone just came and went. It was real cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm looking forward to it. And again, it is this weekend. It starts Friday and Sunday, 3 days, over 200 bands. And where will you be at one more time? What time?
The Lawrenceville VFW, we play at 11:20 at night.
Fantastic.
Nice.
And you can follow Lo-Fi Delphi on Twitter at Lo-Fi Delphi Music. That's DELPHI. So, and where else can people find you? Where can people pick up your merchandise?
We're on Bandcamp, we're on iTunes, you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, all the good stuff. Our t-shirts and stickers and pins you'd have to come to a show to get.
Yes, and they will be there at Rant,
Right.
I imagine.
Of course.
There you go. So that is Becki. I'm Brian Crawford and Michael Cohen. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network. In just a few minutes, we will be back with the weird news of the day. So please stay with us. Right now we have 12, which is a song from LoFi Delphi to walk us into the break. You're listening to The River's Edge. Right, we are Pittsburgh's #1 weapon here on the River's Edge Radio Network. Brian Crawford, Michael Cohen, coming to you from Mr. Small's Theater with not one, not two, but 3 weird stories to keep the Mon Monster at bay, where we will single-handedly save the entire city of Pittsburgh from total and absolute destruction. As you know, it is that time of year where we celebrate domestic abusers. So, of course, it's the beginning of the NFL season. And it wouldn't be the NFL without a domestic abuse story. So, this is a situation that we run into here at the studio. Right now, all of the headsets are tied into this one particular board, and it's all at one volume. And Michael likes it turned up high. I like it turned down low. So, we're always at it. We're always coming at each other, and we're ready. We're the rage is boiling over because of the volume of the headset control. So, I have considered attacking Michael to try to win over this headphone fight, and
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I thought maybe shaving your head might be a way to teach you that the volume is too high.
I look like a cancer patient with my head shaved.
Do you? So.
Or a neo-Nazi. I look like a neo-Nazi in chemotherapy when I have my head shaved.
Well, this is kind of the exact same situation. I mean, we almost came to blows before the show started. You don't realize this. It all seems happy on the other side. And for those of you who missed some of the audio from Becki's discussion about Rant, we do have the audio saved, so we will definitely put that together in the post-production, so you'll be able to catch the rest of that. But, yeah, so that's why you couldn't hear that. It wasn't your volume. Michael wasn't lowering, or I wasn't lowering the volume on you. It was just a bad situation.
Oh, it was on me? I had no idea.
No, that was just on technology fail. But anyways, there's an old woman who likes to listen to the Steeler game loud. She's in her 70s.
I saw this.
And yes, she was allegedly beaten by her daughter and her granddaughter. Not only was she beaten, but they shaved her head. It says women beaten, head shaved by daughter and granddaughter in the fight over the Steelers game volume. So, I don't know. Maybe they're Raven fans.
I honestly didn't read down past the first 2 lines of the headline and had totally assumed that it was over team loyalty and did not get to the part where it was about the volume.
Yes, it was all about
and
the volume.
I was just like, damn, Steelers fans be crazy.
So, we have that. Story 1. Story 2.
All right. Story 2. There are some things we can't explain in this world. And sometimes we see things that don't add up. There is a painting by the famous Italian painter Umberto Romano from 1937 called Mr. Pinchin and the Settling of Springfield. Interesting footnote, the Mr. Pinchin here refers to is the immigrating ancestor of the author Thomas Pynchon. But what's particularly strange about this painting is that it very clearly shows a Native American man, I believe that's what's going on here, holding an iPhone. This was painted in 1937, but I mean, Brian, take a look at this. Like, lower left, right quadrant.
That is fantastic.
That's a fucking iPhone.
That is incredible. And this is in the 1930s, you said that this was painted.
No one knows what, a discussion has exploded on the internet about what this could be. It looks like his thumb is even in front of it in that way when you're just like, he's making the stink face that's just like.
Who made this? Who's
I
painting
can't
this?
believe she tweeted that. Umberto Romano.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So, I think the best hypothesis is time travel, probably.
Probably. That kind of reminds me of this. I was listening to the radio the other day, and again, the lack of information, as I said last week, when it comes to the Civil War is just stunning. And this caller calls in to this talk radio show, and they were talking about collecting guns. And not so much as a gun nut, but like older guns and the nostalgia purposes and things like that. And this caller calls in to this talk show and says how he received this gun, and it's amazing. He said this gun, it's an incredible story. It was General Braddock's gun from the Civil War. And I thought, well, damn, that really is amazing, because General Braddock served in the French and Indian War and was killed in the French and Indian War, which was way, way, way before the Civil War.
So what you're saying is time travel.
What I'm saying is time travel. So a discussion continued on Facebook over this radio program, and people were coming up with artifacts from all over. It was really kind of crazy. Let me see if I can pull up some of the artifacts that people found when we were talking about this gun relic. I think I found the most interesting of the relics, personally, but we will let you be the judge of that. Let's see. Okay. Ken discovered Julius Caesar's taser gun. So, yes, and you wonder how Julius Caesar was able to topple the Roman Republic. Talk about a taser gun back in the days of ancient Rome.
Laying suckers down.
Yeah, so that's pretty incredible. Let's see. We also have, George Washington's M16. How do you think he was able to defeat the British? I mean, despite that trained militia, it makes sense.
Yeah, trained with what, right?
Yeah. And now I had discovered, this one was really, really great. I discovered Beethoven's iPod Nano. The playlist was out of this world. I mean, he just listened to that iPod Nano day in and day out.
Turned up very loud so he could feel the vibrations, right?
No, so he could...
Because he's deaf.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So, story 3. This one's kind of interesting. These cheerleaders, have you heard about this?
No.
These cheerleaders were being forced to do splits even if they couldn't. So it says there was a video that came out that shows these cheerleaders being forced to do splits by their coach.
Dark news of the weird this week.
I know, it is pretty
on this
pretty dark.
Domestic violence. Now you're on this weird child abuse.
That's what I'm saying. It's awful. It's that time of year. The NFL is back in season. So
sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's football season. What can I say? Now there's a lot of good football players, but you do also have a lot of scumbags too. But and same with boxing, with Mayweather. I mean, it's just that time of year. I don't know. Yeah, but these cheerleaders, I remember, and that's one thing that I hate about this story, because there are at least 40% of the population that's going to side with the coach, and I'm probably being very conservative in that percentage. It's probably, honestly, it's probably a majority. I remember we had this soccer coach back in my high school, and it was the women's soccer coach, and these people were awful. There was this one girl who was on my sister's team who just asked the coach a question, and the coach was so upset that she asked a question, and I can't remember what the question was. It was something about playing time. It wasn't unreasonable, but the coach then called a university that she had a full ride to and told the university that she quit soccer and tried to sabotage her college career. And of course, people just, despite everything that came out about these coaches, people were just so willing to be like, oh, it's a coach, and the coach is right, and just get behind the coach
And then
no
they
matter
wonder
what.
why kids come in with guns, right?
Yeah. So this is just another sad story about bad coaches. There are a lot. I mean, there are a lot of really good coaches out there. I mean, it is a situation. You're a lot of times you're making very little money or no money. A lot of times you're making a lot of money, depending on what sport you're in. But it's no excuse. I don't know. People, the coaches, no, bad. But why is that a thing? Why are people so willing to just look the other way for a coach?
I mean, I think Americans in general have like a pathetic deference to authority. I think that's actually different in a lot of other places, but I think Americans in particular have like a really sheep mentality where when they hear that someone in authority did something, they immediately defer to that person until a mountain of evidence is shown to them otherwise.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we've got Shadow of Corvus up next. We will see if they should not be abusing your ears. They'll be they're pleasant to listen to, and to prove it, we have Shadow of Corvus. We've got their song right now, and then we'll bring them in studio. We'll talk about their performance coming up at Mr. Smalls. Shadow of Corvus up next here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, The River's Edge. Welcome back to the River's Edge Radio Network here at riversedgepgh.com, broadcasting from Mr. Smalls Theater. And we have Shadow of Corvus here in studio with Brandon and Cameron, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on, guys?
How are you guys doing today?
I
Welcome.
am pretty jet lagged, I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty jet lagged? Yeah,
I
you
I just got off a flight from Los Angeles yesterday, so in my mind, this is not even 8 a.m. for me.
Not 8 a.m. Wow. Well, that's okay. I work overnight, so I don't want to hear
I
any excuses.
I know a couple of different times you've mentioned you are like constant overnights.
Constant
I feel-
overnight, yes.
I feel it, man.
Constantly awake, basically.
To be fair, Brian, what is this? This is just 6 p.m. for you, basically, right? You just got
Something.
up.
Well, it's like I just came off of a day off, so I'm really messed up now. So that's actually where this whole pizza thing came from, and I was awake. Actually, last night, yes, I was awake, and then I fell asleep. So, yeah, it was not fun. And by the way, I did want to mention too, today's program is brought to you by Evercrust, the pizza that doesn't end.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Our cocktail of chemicals and ingredients will ensure that this pizza lasts a minimum 3 to 4 weeks. So you can come back, get us a fresh slice, and the chemicals are so pure that even the mice will leave this pizza be.
Brian, I know we decided I'm not going to eat that this week because we didn't have a plate and you wanted to show that off.
Yeah.
If you put a piece of that in the fridge,
You don't need to with Evercrust. Evercrust stands the test of time.
hear me out. If you put a piece of that in the fridge, I will come in and eat it next week.
Oh man.
Challenge accepted.
What if it's just left out? Are you denying the credibility of Evercrust's
All right.
brand? Okay.
Touche. Put it in a box that breathes, not like a closed-in, Tupperware that can't get fresh air. But put it in a box that breathes, and I will come in next week, microwave that, and eat it to prove.
Oh wow.
Fantastic.
To prove the
the
stamina
quality
of Evercrust.
of Evercrust, yeah.
Challenge
So
accepted.
you
Where can I
guys,
find this Evercrust? No.
you can find it at evercrust.com. Don't actually click that because
.com.au.
I don't
It's
know.
an
Yeah, I
Australian
don't know.
company, I think.
I don't know.
Hey, it doesn't have the blue check mark. It hasn't been verified by River's
Yeah.
Edge yet. So.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
lock is unlocked next to HTTP.
Right.
So yeah.
Evercrust.to.
Would you guys eat Evercrust if
The
it was
dark
presented
web.
to you at your show at Smalls on Saturday? at
Funny
7
story
p.m.?
about that. It's a running joke with him where I keep saying that one of these times we play a show, I want to bring hot dogs and just hand or throw hot dogs to the crowd. So if Evercrust could sponsor the show, by all means, I would feed myself endless Evercrust because Evercrust never ends.
I will ensure that 15 minutes before we go on stage, we've already sound checked. I will bring an entire box of aluminum foil and wrap pieces of Evercrust pizza to throw in between our songs.
Ooh, you better bring a lot of foil because Evercrust never ends.
Yeah. It's everlasting.
Like, are these
So-
guys a metal band or a pop punk band? I'm so confused.
We're Pizza Core. Yeah.
Or Pizza Core.
Yes. Well, tell me about Shadow of Corvus, because the last time I saw you perform solo by yourself. So
Yeah,
this is-
that was an interesting gig. That was actually the first time I've ever played this music live.
Okay.
And I felt really honored that the River's Edge, as well as Heavy Metal Menneson, wanted to have me on stage that day. He was unavailable at the time, so I'm like, okay, I could try seeing if I could do all these vocal parts and play all this garbage at the same time. And I guess it worked. We got a little bit of a following, but for me, it's kind of hard to really market a two-piece that doesn't have a drummer.
Yeah.
It's really hard to.
And you were at that show. You were also running sound, so you were
Yeah.
kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I was all over the place that day. That was a long day. It was a very long day. But I mean, ever since that Heavy Metal Menneson gig, we've been trying to get out more often.
Yeah, I think we've improved live. We've definitely had our follies. There was the time where a hard drive with our backing tracks came unplugged
Oh wow.
during a battle of the
Halfway during
bands.
our show.
It's great.
And the sound guy was like nowhere to be found.
It was good times.
Like, yeah, anybody know where he is?
Oh, and then the other time where we had a show and we asked the sound guy if he was ready for our sound check, and he's like, "No, we're ready for you to perform." And we're like, "There's nobody in here," and he's like, "Yeah, we know." So
How did you two meet, and how did you end up starting to work together?
Do you want to tell the story?
we met in college. I was working down at
Which college?
Clarion,
Okay.
Clarion University. I was volunteering at their radio station, and I was looking to put together a metal program, and I found a couple of my friends. He was involved. I met him through marching band, actually, and we started to put the idea together, and I think we had our first show, and we were like, well, we need an intro track, something to spice it up a bit, come in
Yeah.
with. And we did an instrumental, and he did an instrumental. I'm a terrible player. So he did the instrumental, and we were like, well, no, it needs vocals. So our previous host, Zach Hunter, he tried it, and we were like, it doesn't really work. He tried vocals on it. He was like, it doesn't really work. I'd never done it before. I just always kind of like sang along when I was mowing the lawn so that nobody would hear me screaming along to
It's my
Disturbed
favorite.
when I was 12 years old.
I can relate.
Yeah, I think that's where everyone gets their start, is trying to shower sing David Draymond.
Yeah.
So they had me try it, and we were all impressed, including myself, because I didn't think I could actually do it loud enough to be picked up by a microphone. So it kept evolving, and then he was like, hey, I've been writing in this basically a diary since I was 15 years old. They're almost lyrics. Do you want to turn it into a band? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it went from there. Lots of proofreading, because the entire first EP, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was all stuff that you had written growing up.
Yeah.
And you just never put it to a actual
I
recording.
basically had the Metallica approach, where I came up with riffs, and originally and still to this day, I'm trying to better myself as an audio engineer and as a producer. So living in the area that I'm in, I'm based out of Clarion for a number of years. It's how I met him, was when I became a student there. I had all of these ideas sitting around, and since there wasn't anybody in the area that really digged the kind of music that I like, which I'm really into, like the melodic death of the Gothenburg, Sweden 1990s era, like the In Flames, the Dark Tranquility, the Death Clock kind of stuff. There wasn't anybody at home that liked that style, so I'm like, hey, if nobody else is around, I might as well do it myself. It's an excuse for me to get better at recording. And I eventually showed him some of this stuff, because I'm like, hey, you're on my metal show. I can trust you with this garbage, right? Nobody, I'll have like 2 listeners on Bandcamp. Nobody's going to care. You mind joining in? And it's evolved into what it is today. We took a lot of time on the first EP.
Yeah, you actually cut me off from revisions, because you were like, no, we just need to put it out. And I was like, it's not good enough. And he's like, there is no good enough. Nobody's going to listen to this. So
it's because I was sitting on like 4 songs for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't feel comfortable enough putting these out yet. I don't want these sounding like garage demos, for God's sake. And it finally got to the point that you nagged me about the title track of the EP. I got that done, and I'm like, all right, 5 songs. I can't listen to this anymore. If I keep working on this, I'm going to lose my damn mind. I can't do this. Like, I'm just putting it out, set a release date, get it out of here.
Right.
But don't you think that kind of attention to detail, it pays off in the long run, right?
Yeah,
Now
I think-
you're going to be performing at Mr. Small's Theater. That's kind of a hallmark, kind of a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
always
I really can't take all the
looking
credit for
for.
that show. I really have to thank my buddies Dave Toole and Darren DiNapoli from the headlining band Identity X.
Uh-huh.
I've
Really
been
talented guys.
Really, really talented guys. I've been friends with them for a number of years, and I've even ran sound for a couple of their shows before, and these guys are no joke. Holy crap. Dave has some of the best range of a vocalist I've ever heard out of a male vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how high and how low he can get.
Wow.
And I mean, it pays off. He's a full-time actor in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
I can't take the credit for jumping on this show. Darren, their guitar player, came to me and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for an opening band. We've always wanted you guys to open for us. You available?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I am.
Nice.
Do it."
And it's for me, it's crazy to even have somebody bring us on as an opener because in my mind, it's incredible liability to have 2 people on stage and neither one of them is a drummer or a bassist.
Yeah.
I'm not a drummer. I just don't have the equipment to carry around with me.
Right.
And why would I want to drum when I could just play guitar and have R2D2 do it all?
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's gonna be cool. So you guys are opening up for this show. I know it open. Doors open at 7, or do you guys start playing?
We
at
start playing at 7.
Okay.
Doors open at 6, I
Okay.
believe.
So I have a question because you two both look like very mild mannered. I mean, you've got a metal shirt on, but you dress like I dress most days.
Well, I'm also just fresh out of Los Angeles as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
but like, so do y'all dress up for your stage performance? Because the only time I've seen like a black metal band or whatever that was like in the woods of Santa Cruz, and they had like the long hair, it was like a fire and a generator, like and all the
Corvus.
yeah, like
I'll take this one, Brandon. I'm not into gimmicks.
yeah.
So something that's always really appealed to me, maybe not so much the irony, but stage dress-wise, I wish I had the money for it, but somebody I really look up to is Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age. It's so cool the way they present themselves because it's just a nice pair of jeans, some leather shoes, leather jacket, and you're set. I don't do that, but Kill Switch Engage regularly. Jesse shows up wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I know that's something you've done the past couple of shows.
Yeah, the Black Forge show. Everyone else was there, and it was your core bands, and everybody's got their like Defeater shirts on or whatever. And I show up in a Hawaiian shirt and a Quicksilver hat and lay down some nasty vocals. So no, I'm we're what would you say like a blackened, atmospheric, melodic death metal type thing, but the corpse paint things never appealed to me.
Likewise.
My personal belief is just if you like the music. You don't have to live the music. If it means that much to you, by all means, go ahead, but don't wear corpse paint and scratch logo shirts just because you feel you need to.
Yeah, I mean, we take influence from that kind of music. I mean, trust me, I've been rocking the new Dark Funeral record for a number of months, and I mean, I usually just go on there just like in the attire that I'm in right now, a pair of cargo shorts and like just a bland metal T-shirt. Most of the time it's Deathclaw because I have a huge love for Deathclaw.
I do like to rag on you about your shoes, though.
Yeah.
All right, what shoes do you have? Can you lift
or
them
what
up?
what are the
just
shoes?
just a pair of Nikes.
Oh, okay.
Just some
okay.
basketball sneakers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I go with, I have a pair of all white America, like the skate company shoes, and he always shows up in those basketball Nikes, and every time I'm like, what are those?
I appreciate that. I grew up in the like mid '90s in like a pretty healthy like punk but also hardcore scene, and yeah, the hardcore kids always just wore like some athletic gear because you're like going to a show or you're gonna dance a bunch, and the
You're
punks
gonna
were always
get
in
hot.
these very elaborate vests with all the spikes. I was like, what is that up? And we did the punk thing for like a year in high school. And we were like, this isn't practical at all.
No, it doesn't
and,
work.
And then went back to just like big hoodies and cargo shorts and some like athletic gear. And we're like, this makes sense.
And I mean, like, I have a patch vest. I rarely wear it because it's so heavy from all the patches I've sewn on it. So to perform it, it's very difficult. I've got my studs all over it and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I've been starting to build mine as well, and I think I only have like 6 or 7 patches on it, and I even think it's still heavy. Because, I mean, I'm like slugging around this Explorer in a flying V and stuff. And it's like, this is way too heavy for me.
Well, that's the funny thing too about like metal musicians. They do a lot of times come out and all dressed up and decked out.
The
and
first one I think
else.
of is Behemoth. Like, their stage presence is insane.
Yeah. But people, like have this opinion like they're all like hard asses, and really, metal musicians a lot of times are more similar to puppies than
Oh yeah.
than a mountain
yeah.
Oh, they're
lion,
nerds. Oh, yeah.
But it's just funny
Totally.
because it's kind of like Harley like motorcycle drivers. It's the same type of thing. They always come out, like they look like these huge badasses, and then you have like a 2-minute conversation with any of them, and the vast majority of them are just like the nicest people.
Oh yeah, no. The show I did yesterday in Uniontown was a benefit for a no-kill dog shelter, but it was in Uniontown, and so of course like the bar is just filled with dudes who look like bikers.
Oh yeah.
And they're all just there. We're like we have no respect for law, but like we love puppies. Yeah, of course we love puppies. Yeah. Put down a doggo, are you? I mean, that's terrible.
That's why I always like sling the phrase stereotypes are cool, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that was my catchphrase throughout college. Because I remember my last performance that I did on Cal's campus. I went in and played a classical guitar arrangement of Tizanarkin from Final Fantasy X. And everybody down there on campus like knew me as like the metal guy. I only liked metal. I only played metal. Was true metal, something like that.
I think it's really interesting that you guys met each other during marching band. You said.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a shift in a short time from marching band music to playing Shadow of Corvus.
Absolutely. So that last performance, I came dressed in like the most metal attire you can imagine. I spiked my hair up. I had like a pair of ripped jeans on. I went to Hot Topic and bought this pink t-shirt that had like unicorns and rainbows on it. It said death metal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just to break the stereotypes. And I was real quiet. I was like, yeah, I'm playing this song. Just started
go out there
playing
and do
it
your thing. Yeah.
And just walked out and like later.
Fantastic.
Stereotypes are cool, right?
They are.
Definitely. So is this like your guys' biggest performance yet here
Absolutely.
at Mr. Smalls?
Oh yeah.
This is easily the biggest show we've ever done. And like I said, I'm really grateful for Identity X for allowing us to open up for them because we've always wanted to play Mr. Small's main.
Oh yeah.
We've seen so many of our favorite bands play on that stage, and it's going to be a blast to finally be on there, even as a 2-piece.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Be like, hey mom, I did it.
I mean, the number of bands I've seen here: Finch, Periphery,
Periphery was one
Baroness, man, all influences.
Yeah, it was funny. We were here for Shaler Palooza, which is this event they do for Shaler High School.
Okay.
And we had our banner on the main stage, and I remember I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, we got our banner, hanging up at Mr. Smalls, and
That's
then,
rad.
And then it was
That is
like
awesome.
only a few months later, the studio caught on fire, and now we're based inside of Mr. Smalls. So,
It's weird how
it's
that
amazing.
works.
Yeah, it's amazing how a few months can make a huge difference. But yeah,
I have to say I've been following that with you guys. I give you all the credit in the world for being able to turn around from something like that quickly. Kudos to you.
Yeah,
guys.
seriously.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was fun. It was an interesting experience. We did some shows out of a cafe 1 week, and my dining room for a few weeks until
That's kind of cool.
not a few weeks, but a few.
I always
few
wanted
shows.
to play a house show.
Yeah. It was literally, I guess you could say that was the house show. But the original studio was actually in my place, except for it was up in that closet attic.
Okay.
And it was super hot. And when the studio caught fire, I'm like, I'm not gonna risk another fire by just
Right.
extreme heat. Like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
hot up there, I could just see like things combusting for no reason.
It's like whenever you walk out of a hot tub and you see steam going off you and you feel like a Super Saiyan.
Yes.
That's probably how hot it was.
That's
Steam's
how-
coming off of the windows from the inside.
That is
It's
exactly
nuts.
how hot it was. Yeah, there was at one point back when we were in that old closet studio, I had almost, literally almost passed out. I was sitting there engineering a show. I think it was actually my show, and I just started like swaying back and forth, and I
Oh.
realized I was about to pass out, and that's before I was going without sleep. So that had nothing to do with sleep deprivation at the time. It was just really, 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 really hot.
I can understand. My first home studio in college was in an attic, and you remember tracking
Oh,
vocals
yeah.
and stuff for the EP up there. Good God, it got incredibly hot.
Well, now when because the writing process for our new full-length album we're working on, we just finalized the artwork today, so we're waiting for it to get finished and scanned over to us. But it's been pretty much, he's been out in LA, and I've been like, hey, have you come up with anything? He's like, no, I'm in Los Angeles. So I would pull out my guitars and write some real crap riffs. But to recreate that kind of atmosphere, I have like a little storage area in my apartment now that's completely isolated from the AC. So I'll trap myself in there and set my speakers outside and track with just sweat running down my arms. And then I'll send it to him, and he'll be like, I can kind of see where you're going with this. You might need to work on your picking. And I'm like, I'm just sweating over here because I.
That's how I am on stage, though. I'll like get up on stage and I'll just be like drowning.
Yeah, but like it's nothing for me to like come up with one or two riffs, and I'll send it to him and be like, hey, you need to listen to these. And he's like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And it's like 5 days. And I go, hey, have you heard those yet? And he's like, no, I've been completely busy, man. And I'll be in my head like, I've seen you on Facebook like 3 times. Just go to the Google Drive and listen to it, man.
What you got going on in LA? You keep saying that.
Yeah. What's going on there? Can we
Yeah,
talk
how much
about
can
that?
you say about this?
I could probably talk about it now.
Okay, all right.
Let's do it. You just came
and-
back from LA for this show at Mr. Small's. It's been a
Absolutely. I went out there to find, in the words of Devin Townsend, the world's greatest bean. But not really, though. I went out this past week to work on marketing and be in town for press week for an album that just released this past Friday. And I'm incredibly proud to say that it's my idol, Brendan Small's Galacticon 2, Beginning of the
Nice.
Storm.
very
I
cool.
went out for press week for that. There were a couple of events that went on, and I was basically the assistant manager of the entire week.
Oh wow, that's great!
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was definitely the most stressful and amazing week I've ever had. It's disgusting how well that blended together.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you go to a grocery store and you pick out all these ingredients for a morning smoothie, like, yeah, this sounds like it'll go good together. Yeah, this sounds great, and you make it, it's just a car wreck.
That's the only way I shop.
It's like you take a drink.
That's how I got
it's
this
like-
outfit.
It's like, am I drinking an Irish car bomb or is this an actual smoothie? I'm so confused.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
If there's booze in it,
Where's
it's
the
good.
Baileys?
So
Good for me.
7 p.m. Mr. Small's right here in this building.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's going to be great. So check that out. Shadow of Corvus. You can find you guys on Twitter. I know that you're on Twitter at Shadow of Corvus, and
We should use
Facebook.
that more often.
Yeah, we should use our
Facebook.
Twitter more often. We're most active on Instagram and Facebook.
okay.
I have a
What
lot
is
of
your
free time.
Instagram at Shadow of Corvus
Yes.
as well? So there you go.
Same
Very
as Facebook.
consistent. Yes. So you can find them there. Find out all about them and come out. It's going to be this Saturday,
Yep,
7 p.m.
Yep, we have
right
a
here.
Facebook event. Tickets are available online. They're also on our Big Cartel page, shadowcorvus.bigcartel.com.
Ticket CD bundle.
Ticket CD bundle for 12, whereas both would be 15. You know you want it, you know it's garbage, but you want to support local music.
Yes. So check them out. This
Support the
Saturday.
scene, man.
Support it. Yes.